During a construction repair project, water damage restoration is necessary in order to avoid further damage to the property. The most important aspect of water damage restoration is to remove all water that has accumulated inside the property. The remaining water may cause mold and mildew to grow, so it is essential to get rid of all the water from the property as soon as possible. Usually, this process involves using industrial pumps that have powerful suction. A water mitigation contractor should be able to explain the damage thoroughly and honestly. He or she should be able to discuss the cost of water extraction and structural drying. The leftover moisture can lead to microbial growth and can lead to health problems. Personal belongings should be cleaned, categorized, and stored safely until the reconstruction process can begin. It is important to find a professional to do the water restoration work, since an amateur attempt could result in broken items and damaged property. The process of water damage restoration should begin as soon as possible after the construction project has been completed. The initial damage mitigation and rebuilding process can take several weeks. It is important to call a professional immediately. If you wait too long, you may miss important steps in repairing the damage, and it could also make it more costly to restore the home. A professional restoration service provider will be able to provide the best solution for your property. When you are choosing a water damage restoration service provider, make sure you find one that is honest and trustworthy. You should not be afraid to ask questions, and you should not hesitate to request references. A trustworthy company will tell you the truth and explain the steps in detail. If a contractor cannot explain why something needs to be replaced, he or she will do it incorrectly. And if the person is smooth talking, it's probably not the best choice for your property. The cost of water damage restoration varies depending on the type of water that has flooded the home. If it's clean, the cost of repairing a water damage will be the least expensive. If it contains a lot of gray water, the cost of restoring the building will be higher than with clean waters. The type of water will affect the price of the project, but the costs will differ according to the kind of work involved. Once a construction repair company has finished the work, the water damage restoration process can begin. The process starts with removing the standing water from the building. If the water is too much, the restoration team will use submersible pumps to remove it. If the water is not removed, it will be removed with a truck-mounted vacuum and a submersible pump. If the damage is too extensive to repair, the materials will be replaced. If you have a water leak in your home, contact your insurance provider. Your insurance company will cover the cost of the damage, but it is important to notify the company before the water restoration process begins. This will allow them to get the proper paperwork in place before the cleaning process can begin. It is also important to note that the water damage restoration process is a very lengthy process, and it can take many months for the job to be complete. The first step is to determine the cause of the leak. A water leak may be caused by a blockage in a pipe or an improper installation. Once the leak is identified, it is important to remove it as quickly as possible. This will help minimize damage and the costs of restoration. The next step is to inspect the plumbing and determine the cause of the water leak. If it is a construction leak, it should be repaired before any other repairs. Once the water damage restoration process begins, it is important to remove any standing water as soon as possible. If the water is in the walls of a home, it can spread and cause mold, which is very damaging. If the water is in a basement or foundation, the water damage restoration process is more complicated and costly. This is why it is important to contact a professional and get the necessary paperwork in order. You will also need to contact your insurance company for assistance with a claim.